Looks like we're nearly all there, so we'll start to see the cars being flagged off any moment. Giles Greenbridge is there, and there's a man with a Union flag next to him. And the flag falls, and the first group of cars get their race away, but not Mike Harvey. Mike Harvey does not get away from the start, so it's a good start instead made by the Race Kits Merlin there. It's heading down towards us, but in the end it's the 81 car of Samuel Bayliss, the Centaur Mark 14, that takes the lead then from number 37. In second place, John Donnelly. This all on the road, of course. This is not how it looks at the timing screen, which shows that Tim Mile has already completed 2 laps. The reality is he's not going to be moving for another minute and 45 seconds or something, although we'll have 2 laps less to do than anybody else once the race does get underway. So we've got cars out on circuit, more of them being released. Now that's Simon Gallen. He's gone off, I think, possibly on his own in the end in the 61 car. Didn't see Timothy Roebuck's number 18 car alongside him. Mike Harvey did get away in the end in the number 5 car, and he's already been caught by the Cotswold Garage V of Mark Lawton from Chesterfield. And they've got, that's good to see, Graham Wilson is out there in the time 3B, number 7. And the 27 car is there as well, which is Richard Pryor. So a lot of the cars have now made their way off. There's still cars on the grid. Next group of cars can just see about to come past our commentary box window. And it looks like it's Charlie Plain-Jones has just been released there in the number 22 car. So these are the first of the cars that have got a credit lap. So these only have to actually complete 6 laps of racing rather than the full 7. And various of the Austin 7s that form the basis of the 750 Most Club way back in the 1930s and 40s being released out onto their race. I did once see a clubman's handicap race at Silverstone on the national circuit where the handicapping didn't really work out, and we got the very fast clubman's cars coming around Woodcote Corner while there were still cars on the grid. There was a red flag. But no, this seems to have worked much more effectively here, and very shortly Tim Mile will be going off into the race as well. And the leaders are already, where are they? Heading presumably now up towards Lodge Corner. Yeah, there they are. The number 81 car, Samuel Bayliss it is, that leads the race then. And there's Tim Mile, and he's off onto his 5 laps, Andy.
Indeed, and he has about the length of the pit straight in hand over the first of the cars that was released. That's the number 81 of Sam Bayliss. So Sam Bayliss then is chasing Mile, but he is a lap and a bit behind, essentially. So that white number 81 car has to catch, overtake Mile, and then gain a whole lap on Mile in order to be classified the winner. I think really the group of cars that we will end up following inevitably are the group that are probably just coming towards the completion of the lap now, because that's where we've got our front runners from the earlier race, and we know that they should, in theory, end up at the back, at the front of the field come the end of it as well, but might take them a few laps before they catch the next group of drivers in front of them.
Yeah, there's Graham Wilson, number 7. He's there in the time 3B. We've got Richard Pryor as well in the DNC Mark III. So he's just tucked in behind there in that number 27 car. Richard Pryor. This is his backup car at the moment. He previously raced the JGS 3, but this is just something he's using just for the moment. Richard Pryor, who is 56-year-old company director from Warwickshire, seen down at Chellows Corner, where Mike Harvey, number 5, who made that rather shoddy start, is now making his way through. The order at the moment is about to appear on our screens again, hopefully, but we're just waiting for it to the timekeepers to sort itself out and themselves out and keep up with what's going on here. But heading down to Britain, so you've got this battle between Pryor and Wilson at the moment. Graham Wilson in the time 3B, who lists Oulton Park as his favourite circuit. He's the managing director of a company. 2021 was when he started racing. He's also out in the Trump TR6. Now behind them here, you can see you've got John Village bearing down on them, and also Greg and Thruston as well, I think that is, behind. So we are going to get some passing being done here now. and they were both on scratch, so this is for position then.
Yes, John Village gets past going over Clay Hill. John Village started the lap, I think I'm right in saying, about 17 seconds behind the cars that he's catching now. There's a bit of a lock-up there going into Druids for the number 1 car. That's the Greg and Thruston car, which had a little bit of a snatched break. But they are all sort of coming together, aren't they, here, as they head towards Lodge Corner. But John Village, as we expected, the one that is sort of making all of the moves, peeks to the inside there at Lodge Corner. Ultimately a bit too far back to make a move on that occasion. On the timing screen, the race being led by the number 30 of Tim Miles still, but that changes then as others come across the line, most notably number 22, Charlie Plain Jones in the Austin 7 Cowley Special, who is sort of a lap ahead, essentially, on the handicap.
Luigi Bayliss in the Centaur Mark 16, he's going pretty well there. He's in 12th position at the moment. He's sort of looks to be going pretty quickly as Mike Harvey there is passed by John Village. John Village now 70 years of age, of course. Started racing in 1973 in 750 Formula in the Village, which he has now replicated with the Village V2, which he's been racing for 2 or 3 seasons now with the 750 model. And this is how you all of a sudden get a very busy piece of circuit there. In these historic 750 Formula handicap races. That's exactly what you've got on at Shell's Corner now, and this will, generally speaking, be for position as well as quicker cars are coming through.
Yes, fastest lap of the race, Greg and Thruston, 2:15.2. He's the number 1 car. Big lock up there for Graham Wilson in the number 7, going through the Britain's chicane. He's just ahead of Greg and Thruston, actually. So Thruston, fastest man on track. Now, he's in the same part of the race, if you like, as the likes of John Village, who he is behind. So that is a genuine fight, really. He needs to try and get on terms with Village as soon as he can.
And look at Greg Catton in the Dyson trying to get past Lyndon Thruston, who was battling for the victory in race 1 as well before that incident with John Village. Thruston doing well to keep him at bay. He's trying to get through the traffic as well to try and catch back up on terms with John Village as well, and doesn't want him to get too far up the road. He's got some empty tarmac in front of him though at the moment, as John Village, which will help him to possibly make a bit of a break here.
It's a 1 minute 22 second lead at the moment for Tim Mile, but on his previous lap was the first lap of the race, I suppose, so we'll get his proper lap times in a moment or two. As this group makes its way towards Lodge Corner, Greg and Thruston then ahead of still the number 23 as they head towards Lodge Corner. And that, of course, is Lyndon Thruston, so 2 of the Thrustons together. But that car, number 31, looks quicker in this race, doesn't it, really, than it did in the first one earlier on today?
Yeah, it seems to be. It was obviously right at the front in qualifying, wasn't it? But didn't have such a strong first race as we thought it might do. Eventually finished 4th in the end, which was probably slightly flattering given the couple of cars that had dramas ahead of it. But Greg Catton seems to be going pretty well here in the number 31. He's one of the entries in Class D, a new class structure this season for the Raceparts Historic 750 Formula Series. So we've got the Historic 750 Formula cars, the supercharged and non-supercharged Austin 7s, and that's a problem for Greg and Thruston all of a sudden going slowly, isn't it? He was one of the favourites because he was the fastest man in race 1, and he looks like he's got a problem, so that's probably cooked his goose as far as this race is concerned.
Yeah, fastest man in the handicap race as well, but not anymore as he slows, not quite to a halt, but crawling along the Lakeside Straight. That's a shame. Takes one of our contenders out of it. Meanwhile, Tim Mile has completed his first full flying lap on the timing screen. That's his 4th lap of the race. It was a 2:57.2, so best part of 20 seconds slower than Charlie Plain Jones behind him, but that is nearly 30 seconds or more slower than the quickest cars on track. But they're over a lap behind, if that makes any kind of sense. So this is how the handicap works. He is quite a bit slower than everybody else, but giving him that advantage at the start means the rest of them really have to push quite hard, actually, to have any chance of catching him.
That's right. So you're seeing some good battles on track here. You've got Graham Wilson in the Time 3B. You've got Greg Catton in the Dyson. You've got Lyndon Thruston in the HCS. And at the moment, it's for 13th, 14th and 15th position. I think that they're battling. I'm sure they'll be close towards the sharp end by the time this race is completed. Tim Mile leads by 1 minute and 2 seconds from number 11 now, which is James Miles, the 60-year-old from Billingshurst. He's moved up into second position in the Austin 7 Monoposto Special with the Pigsty supercharged engine. So he's a minute and 2 seconds behind, lapping about 20 seconds a lap faster than Tim Mile with 3 laps to go. So they're going to be pretty close towards the end. And Charlie Plain-Jones is only a couple of seconds behind him. It was at the start of the lap anyway. And similarly, I think that will work out to get them quite close together by the end of the race. So there's the... and there's Greg and Fuston now stopped on the side of the circuit. So his race has been run, unfortunately. I'm trying to work out exactly where he stopped there.
Up at Britain's, I think that is.
Yeah.
But on the cut-through, so he's out of the way.
That's good to know.
So, James Miles, you may have just mentioned this.
Yes.
James Miles only a minute now behind Tim Mile, but lapping 20-odd seconds a lap faster.
That's exactly what I just said, yeah.
Do apologise. Yes, James Miles then, but he's really not the danger man, is he? It's those further back that should be. But then, are they going to have time to overcome such a big deficit from the handicap? It may be that actually it's one of the drivers we've not really sort of mentioned so far that ends up coming out of this a race winner.
It certainly could be, and that's the beauty of the handicap format. They've all got an even chance of doing it. I mean, John Village is going quite well, though, isn't he? What's he doing? He did a 2:15.846 last time through. He was lapping quicker than Lyndon Thrushton, but not as quick and slightly not as quick as Red Catton. Oh, Tim Mile, the race leader, is sort of chugging into Oulton corner that time. He's completed another lap in the 3:01s, but he's smoking now as he heads around Oulton corner once again. So I think Tim Mile, the race leader, may not be much longer for this race. And it looks like he's going to pull off the circuit at the pit lane exit, so he's getting well out of the way there. I'm afraid Tim Miles' race is over, so that means we're going to have a new race, and not Mile, but Miles. Going to be taking the lead of the race, I think. James Miles, who has just come across the line now, actually, to complete lap number 5, when he's within 35 seconds, was within 35 seconds of the race leader, who's just pulled off.
But significantly, the likes of John Village only at Druid, so not that far behind, really,
No.
and on the same lap, essentially. So, John Village, how long has he got, though? That's the question.
There's 2 more laps to go.
2 more laps to gain what is going to be, well, we'll see exactly what the gap is. You can ignore Tim Mile now on your timing tower. It is James Miles in second place, so he comes across the line very shortly, does John Village. There he goes, and Village is, what's that, 33 seconds or so behind James Miles.
And lapping about 19 seconds a lap faster, so you know, it's touch and go, but it looks like that could be possible for John Village to overhaul that gap.
But he's got a few overtakes to do on his way, which could delay him, and he can only afford... He's got about 10 seconds, I reckon, to play with. He can't afford to lose much more than that.
Samuel Bayliss, I think, is one to watch, because he's 14 seconds lap faster than James Miles and only 21 seconds behind with 2 laps to go. So he's someone to watch. That's Samuel Bayliss in the number 81 car.
It's all going to come together on the final half a lap in.
It is, exactly. Almost like it was planned that way. There's Samuel Bayliss. He's just getting through Shell Oil's corner now in the 81 car. The car behind him is the 47 car, which is the historic Formula V of Mark Lawton, the Cotswold Garages V, with the 1.3 litre big air-cooled engine. And there's Charlie Plain-Jones just heading down towards Hislops and Knickerbrook once again. So we are most of the way around the penultimate lap of this race. We've still got a good fight going on, including Greg Catton, but Lyndon Thrushton, I noticed, has sort of dropped back from Catton, so he's not going to be winning this race, I don't think.
But this is the man you think might have a chance.
I could
Sam
do.
Bayliss through Knickerbrook corner then, so can we see who's that in the distance? That's maybe Verheyden and Hayward Cook and Hugo Pickup ahead of him, so he can't yet see James Miles, but James Miles can't be that much further round the lap. They'll be coming through to start their final lap. And
there he is.
There he is at Druid, so this is definitely doable, isn't it?
It is, and he's just going into Druid now, so he's going to get him at some point early on the final lap of the race, I think, is Samuel Bayliss in the number 81 car. We've just got to see, is there anyone else coming up quickly behind him? Just looking at the timing screens, Simon Gallen a couple of seconds faster, but 7 seconds behind, and John Village, he's the other one still to watch, isn't he?
Yes, because Village is at the line now, and where was Bayliss? Bayliss has gone through Sorry, that's Bayliss at the line, Village at the line
Yeah.
now. So that's going to be only about, well, the timer screen will tell us, 6 seconds or so, just under, between Bayliss and Village. It could boil down to a battle between those two because Village is 15.5 seconds off the race leader.
But it was a slow last lap from Bayliss. He was 3 seconds off his pace. So he's 10 seconds behind the race leader and only lapping about 10 seconds faster now.
Okay, and Village on the last lap was 18 seconds quicker than the leader and started the lap 15.5 behind. This could be close.
So that's Samuel Bayliss. He's ahead of Verheyden. He's up to 3rd place now. He's ahead of Pickup. No, that's up to 3rd. He's past Pickup now. So he's got Charlie Plain Jones in number 22 and number 11 James Miles ahead of him now.
Yep, so he is negotiating the traffic pretty well. How is John Village getting through the traffic, I wonder? Round the Shell hairpin they go. Won't be long then, I don't think, before Sam Bayliss is up into 2nd position, more than likely as they come over Hilltop. And then there is John Village, sorry, there is the 81, I beg your pardon, of Sam Bayliss making that move towards the Britain chicane. Where's Village? Where's Village? There is Village. So it's now the length of the Britain chicane between those two as they both pursue James Miles, the race leader, car number 11.
They do indeed. There is James Miles in that monoposto, number 11, the Austin 7, for the driver that's been racing since 2010. He races in Europe, races in VSCC events as well as with the 750 Most Club, but now he's got right behind him Samuel Bayliss. Who is he going to be the winner of this race in the number 81 car, the Centaur Mark 14 for the driver from Rugby? There's John Village. He's just climbing Clay Hill as well, so it is going to come together right at the end of the race here.
Up towards Druids they come then, so we could have a change for the lead here. Sam Bayliss is going to pass James Miles, I think, on the exit of Druids. Does John Village have time to get there? Village was 3 abreast, I think, in the background, trying to make progress. There's a surface flag waiting for them at Lodge Corner, but I think behind the timing tower there's going to be a change of lead as here he comes. Sam Bayliss up the inside, and I'm not... oh no, he can't pass because there's a yellow flag zone.
So it's not a yellow flag, it's only a slippery surface flag. You can pass there, and I wonder if he realises that. He can pass there if he wants to, and he's going to try and do it now. He's side by side with James Miles. He's getting his nose in front, up to the line. They come. It's going to be side by side over the line. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be James Miles or is it going to be Samuel Bayliss? And it's James Miles that wins it. Samuel Bayliss is 2nd, and John Village is in 3rd place. I do wonder though if he was just perturbed by the yellow and red slippery surface flag and thought he couldn't overtake when he could. Charlie Plain Jones is 4th. Hugo Pickup 5th. Simon Gallen 6th. Richard Verheyden 7th. Greg Catton is 8th. Graham Wilson is 9th, and Richard Pryorans are at the top 10. And I don't know why we don't do this more often, Andy.
I think every race should be a handicap race. That was brilliant. Sam Bayliss, I mean, he will be kicking himself afterwards. Maybe he thought that he would have the speed up the hill anyway, but he didn't. James Miles found an extra gear almost and just managed to hang on.
It is a supercharged Austin 7, so that will have helped him, I think, you know, climb the hill and get over the line. So you've got there the top 10 at the end of that, separated by 12 seconds, which is a remarkable thing. The top 14 covered by 29 seconds, a few stragglers still to come through. We don't really concern ourselves with the classes within the handicap race, but for the record, James Miles, Samuel Bayliss, Charlie Plain Jones and Greg Catton were the first cars home in their respective classes. But yeah, 0.134 seconds between the first two at the end of that race, and it wasn't far away from being 3 of them right together. If the finish line was somewhere just around the corner at Oulton, I think John Village might have won that race. So yeah, dramatic stuff from the historic 750 Formula in the first of their handicap race of the season. They used to have a couple each year. I think the drivers enjoy them, and we enjoy them as well. Let's have a look at the results of that race then. It is number 11, James Miles, the winner at the end of 7 laps in his Austin 7 monoposto, from number 81, Samuel Bayliss in 2nd in the Centaur Mark 14, 0.134 seconds behind. In 3rd place, number 29, John Village in the Village V2. 4th, number 22, Charlie Plain Jones in the Austin 7 County Special. 5th, number 69, Hugo Pickup in the Austin 7 Ulster. 6th, number 61, Simon Gallen in the Austin Pigsty Special. 7th to number 6, Richard Verheyden in the Austin Ulster Bad Frog. 8th to number 31, Greg Catton in the Dyson Type 64. 9th to number 7, Graham Wilson in the Time 3B. And 10th, number 27, Richard Pryor in the DNC Mark 3. Then Ben Bolt, Mark Lawton, Nick Hayward-Cook and John Donnelly. And a bit further back, just looking at the next screen, we saw Luigi Bayliss, Michael Harvey Look, something happened to Lyndon Thruston, I think, because he is shown a lap down. We know about Tim Mole. I don't think I ever really saw Trevor Slatter during the course of the whole of that race, but he didn't make it to the end apparently, and neither did Greg and Thruston. So that was the his Raceparts historic 750 Formula Series handicap race.